Hello, my name is Rising, and today is a very special day. Today, I'm going to be doing a dramatic reading on a fanfiction. Now, I'm also a fanfiction writer. Whether or not my stories are actually good is to be discussed on a later date. But today, I wanted to read a story based on one of my favorite video games of all time, Jet Set Radio Future. Now, Jet Set Radio is a very niche franchise, as you all know. So, it doesn't have a large amount of stories, unlike a lot of bigger franchises. So, the good ones, and the really bad ones, stick out like a sore thumb. And this story I have today is quite something. It's an old classic. It was made about a decade ago, which is kind of insane. This story is called Young Hearts. And for the summary, it's been months since Gum and Corn broke up, and he's still confused as to why it happened, and why is he still hung up on her. Couples included in the story are Gum and Corn, Gum and Beat, and maybe just a hint of Yo-Yo and Riff. This is a story of heartbreak, pain, and cringe. This is the most mean-spirited thing I've ever read. It's kind of crazy. So today, we are going to dive into the story of romance and friendship, apparently, involving our favorite Jet Set Radio characters. Now, let us begin. Chapter 1. The heat in the garage was unbearable. Everyone was cowering in the shade, trying to avoid the immense sun or sunbathing with virtually nothing on. Gum was one of those sunbathing. She wore the shortest dress known to humanity in a pearly white shade and a huge pair of sunglasses on, covering her perfect blue eyes. Every guy in the garage was staring at her. Wait, they have a sunbathing machine in the garage? Really? No, okay, whatever. Let's continue. And she knew they were. She could feel their beady little eyes peeping out from under their caps and shades, and she wasn't at all bothered. She knew having a perfectly toned body paid off, not only for getting guys, but for seducing leaders of other gangs into revealing their secrets. This benefited the other members of the GGs too. Corn would often send her to lure in some unsuspecting noob of a leader into spilling everything they knew, although it pained him to do so, and she could tell it did. Everyone knew of Corn and Gum's past relationship. It was one of the most well-known love and heartbreak stories amongst the Rudies. When Gum broke up with Corn, DJ Professor K announced it on his pirate radio station, Jet Set Radio. Okay, you know, that's like seriously messed up. Like, imagine if you break up with someone and then it just gets revealed all over the world through a radio station. I mean, I guess that happens pretty often with famous people, but like the GGs aren't like famous. Well, I guess they are famous in the context of Jet Set Radio Future, since they did save Tokyo and stuff, and they were the hottest gang. So, okay, I mean, that makes sense, but like, you know, that can't be good for your psyche, you know, after a breakup. No one really knew how it happened. They seemed so happy together, despite Gum's relationship for being a heartbreaker and Corn's commitment to the gang. Since then, Corn had only dated one other girl, and it had only lasted a few weeks. Everyone knew it was his rebound relationship. Everyone could tell how hard he was trying to get over Gum, trying everything he could to wipe her from his mind. But it was no use. Gum, however, dated quite a few guys since the breakup, Never anything too serious or anything that lasted over a month. Everyone knew she just wanted sex. Although, Korn tried to put anyone who would listen straight. He swore Gum wasn't like that, and that she wouldn't sleep with any guy she didn't love. The proof, however, was far too obvious. On more than one occasion, the feisty teenager was seen entering private rooms with guys and then coming out half an hour later with her hair all messed up and her shirt clumsily buttoned up. Korn refused to see the obvious. It hurt him too much, just to see her with another guy. They remained friends though, and she'd often ask him how his love life was. Usually he'd blankly reply fine, while she'd yatter on about her current boyfriend. Alright, listen, we gotta talk about this, because a common cliche with these Jet Set Radio stories is that they like to make Gum the biggest slag in the entire world. Like they fanfic writers just love making Gum just like get around everywhere. Like all she wants is just sex. She's just undeniably horny all the time. And you know, it's the same here. But like the worst part is Korn has to like try and lie to himself and say that Gum is not like that. Like, little bro, like you be seeing her coming out the room all messy, and you still try to convince yourself no, like she's not like that, you know. And if it hurts you, man, you know, you don't stick around, you know. I mean, I guess you are still friends because you know you're in the same gang, but like, yo, this is not it. This is not it, man. You shouldn't be so hung up about this. This is depressing. You can't defend her. You can't defend her, man. Just stop, Korn, please. Just stop. The sun was setting in the garage, and the GGs were relieved that the heat wave was over. Everyone whipped their shirts back on and came out from the shade, wondering what they should do for the night. It was then that Garum suggested they went to a party. Now, they had to call a truce with most of the gangs in Tokyo. They were able to throw big parties in more places. The most famous of all parties were Rapid 99's street parties in 99th Street, which makes sense because it's practically the red light district over there. People from all over Tokyo would go there every Friday night and dance until dawn, right there in the open, whilst the queens of 99th Street led the dance from their own palace, the Tower in the Century. When Garum mentioned a party, this immediately sprung to everyone's mind, as it was indeed a Friday, and they'd have to make the most of the night, as there would be a storm the next day, thanks to the heat wave. Yo, how about we go and pay the queens of 99th Street a visit? Combo suggested, although everyone was thinking it. You read my mind, bro. Garum smiled. 99th Street, anyone? There was a positive sound of murmurs coming from the other members of the GGs. 99th Street it is. We leave in half an hour. Whilst Combo and Garum were speaking, Korn sat alone on the couch. You know, his usual couch. Thinking about where he went wrong in his relationship with Gum. It was her who ended it, but he had a feeling he had somehow caused it. Well, of course he caused it, he thought. How couldn't he have? Gum was the most gorgeous Rudy in Tokyo, and to him, in the world. When he was with her, he always felt inferior, like the beasts in Beauty and the Beast. Oh my god, little bro, why did you put that? She always told him she loved him, that he was perfect in every way, and that she didn't deserve a guy like him. No, he thought, I didn't deserve a girl like her. Korn had grown up with Gum. She was his best friend, as well as lover. They had never officially asked each other out. It just kinda happened. Childhood friends, I see. Korn's mind flashed to 2 years before, when it was just him, her, and Rollboy. Korn sat on the edge of a skyscraper in the skyscraper district, watching the stars with Gum, head resting on his chest. Although they were just friends at the time, they often sat this close. She loved having her head against his chest. She could hear his heartbeat beating faster and faster, whilst he whispered sweet nothings in her ear and stroked her hair. He often told her about the stars and all the names, and during the day they laid watching clouds go by and guess the shapes. This particular night was a full moon, and Gum lay on Korn's chest, staring at the silver orb. "Korn," she whispered. He looked down at her and smiled. She said nothing else, but he knew what she meant. He wrapped his arms around her tighter as she slowly sat up to be face to face with him. "I love you," Korn whispered. Gum smiled and held his hand as they kissed for the first time. Korn's memory flashed back, and suddenly he was sat back on the couch in the garage. Everyone was leaving for 99th Street. The leader reluctantly sat up and followed the others out of the garage. Okay, so we're already off to a rough start here. I mean, wow. Okay, so we've established a few things, okay? Korn and Gum broke up, and Korn can't get over it, obviously, just like the summary said. And Gum is getting around with every dude that she ever meets. So that's something, huh? That's really something. So how about we continue on with chapter 2? Bursts of neon blinded the Gigis as they rapidly skated along the highway. Lime green and sickly orange lights seemed to infect the air, almost polluting the very air the teenagers sucked in. The wild beat of the most experimental music in Tokyo seemed to collide with everyone's heartbeats. The constant thudding sped up, adrenaline rushing through the Rudy's veins like poison. Rapid 99's Friday night parties were not for the weak, and only for the most eccentric and flamboyant youths dared venture this far into the city at such a late night. Drag queens, hookers, prostitutes, and drug addicts were running riot. This was their scene, and Friday night was the best night for business. I mean, I can't really argue with that. Jet Set Radio was being played from every boombox in the street. I'm Not a Model blaring at full blast, making the very ground underneath the Gigi's roller skate shake violently like an earthquake. Every vibrant juvenile seemed to dance in time, making the pulse of the ground louder and harder, banging at eardrums and shaking bodies. Any new Rudy or country folk would find this spectacle sadistic and noxious, but the Gigis felt right at home. Garum and Combo took the lead, grinding gracefully down the spine of the stone dragon which led them to the core of the binge. The other Gigis followed, keeping close as to not get lost amongst the creatures of the night. Korn remained at the back of the team. The thumping music and the excited screams of youths as they had sex in the street was making his head throb. Oh my god. Literally just on the street for everyone to see. Bro, y'all couldn't wait. Y'all couldn't like go to like some private area. Y'all had to do that. Y'all had to do that just on the street. Oh, alright. You know what? Okay. There was only one thing for it. I have to get a goddamn drink, you're telling me. After 5 beers, some cider, and a vodka shot, Korn was feeling much better. You know, I guess he's very tolerant with his alcohol, clearly. The air around Benton Tower stunk of cigarette smoke and weed. Soda stood beside his drunken friend, smoking a joint and watching the sickening neon blurs rush past. This is the life, eh, man? Soda laughed. Marijuana was the one substance that got the shy Gigi talking more, and Korn liked this side of him. Yeah, never any worries on a Friday, Korn joked, scanning the crowd for anyone else he knew. His eyes stopped when he saw a familiar girl kissing a guy. It took him a few seconds to realize what he was seeing as the alcohol had took effect. It was Gum and Pete. The giggly teenager had a bottle of wine in one hand and a cigarette in the other. The redhead had his arms around her waist as they kissed passionately and in full view of everyone. Soda paused to see what Korn was staring at and flashed the leader a sympathetic look, which basically said, "I know what you're thinking, man." "Forget it," Korn laughed, not so convincingly. "We broke up. I'm over it. She could shag whoever she wants now." Bro, you are coping omega hard right now. Okay. Soda sighed. "Aw, come on, man. I know you don't mean that. Anyway, Gum wouldn't do a thing like that." Bro, you're literally seeing what's happening right now, and you know what Gum be doing with other guys. Like, come on now. You know. The two boys looked back at the new couple. Well, they're not really a couple yet, right? Anyways, to see Beat wrap a hand around Gum's exposed thigh, and the other very close to her breast. Korn gave a hurt smile. "No, of course, she wouldn't." He laughed sarcastically and turned to go. Soda followed Korn all the way back to the empty garage. The leader collapsed on the old broken sofa, which was positioned on the top floor of the hangout, and his concerned friend slowly sat beside him. Korn just decided to wallow back in his couch. "Don't let it get to you. She gets around," Soda reasoned. "Yeah, but not with any of the GGs. I didn't expect her to do that. Not right under my nose, anyways. She knows how I feel about her. How I felt about her." Korn sighed. "I guess he just forgot about me. I mean, you guys broke up not too long ago. So, I mean, I guess she just, shrugged it off better than you. I mean, clearly you're still hung up about it, but, I get it. I think that's the misconception fanfic writers have with, Gum. They always write her to be, such a slut because of the whole heartbreak thing that she has in future, which isn't really shown in the actual game. But, there has to be, a limit. She's not gonna do it with the homies. Well, she did it here, but, Gum wouldn't do it with the homies, And she's not gonna do it with just anybody. The whole thing about Gum is that she flirts with guys and then she abandons them. She don't actually do it, She plays them. But fanfic writers just make her just shag every guy she sees, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I think people just have that misconception all the time. "You know that's not true," Soda snapped. "You two are best friends, always have been. Man, I'd kill to have the friendship you two have. You tell each other everything." "Well, she tells me everything. I find it hard to talk to her now, knowing all I ever want to say is that she's the only girl in the world who makes me feel this way." "In what ways is that?" Soda asked, feeling quite stupid doing so. "I don't know. She just makes me feel so alive, I'm actually worthy of someone like her. That I'm loved for who I am and not what I am. When we first made love, it was like we were the only people in the world. That nothing else mattered." Oh, this is the flashback sex scene. Okay, right. His hands ran along her back, making shivers run up and down her spine. She slid off her loose sateen blue dress and laid back as he trailed kisses along her neck and collarbone, making her tilt her head back with pleasure. Their lips met and they kissed, sliding their tongues into the other's mouths and undressing nervously. He nibbled her lower lip as she slid off her panties and gripped his waist, begging him to imitate her actions on himself. He obeyed. He sucked at her neck before planting kisses southwards, down her collar over her breast, running along her flat stomach before returning to her lips. Gum, are you sure you want to do this? He asked, hovering over her body, waiting for a response. Are you? She whispered, breathing heavily only inches away from his mouth. I am if you're sure you want to. If you want me to stop, just say so and I will. The girl smiled, moving her lips closer to his. It's probably gonna hurt a bit. In that moment, Corn penetrated her. She let out a soft cry, which was immediately silenced by Corn's lips crashing against hers. I love you, he moaned into her mouth, kissing her over and over again. Okay, so now we're out of the flashback. You gotta stop thinking about it, man. It's gonna slowly eat away at you if you don't. Soda's voice brought Corn back to reality. I know, but it's so hard. The sound of a girl giggling came back from the other side of the garage. Gum and B had left the party early and stumbled over the tiled floor, bumping into things and tripping up. Either they hadn't seen the two teenagers chatting or were too drunk to care, because as soon as they reached that old trashed car that just sat in one corner of the garage, Pete lifted up Gum to sit up on the roof as they began to undress each other. Soda and Corn stared speechless, not daring to say a word in case the couple heard. I told you, Corn mouthed to Soda as Gum began to scream with ecstasy as Pete thrust into her. Corn immediately became confused. Gum never used to scream when he had sex with her. She was known to giggle, moan, and occasionally have a full-on conversation during sex with Corn, but she never screamed. Corn realized as Beat did Gum on the roof on top of the car that she was putting on a show for Beat. They were both known for being heartbreakers and sex addicts. God. Yo, what? Okay, alright, relax, I'm trolling. When they mix, it creates a contest. A secret competition with the other to see who is the best. Corn couldn't stand watching a moment longer. He stormed off to bed. A small room in a flat around one edge of the garage. He shared that flat with Gum, and he hoped for both of their sakes that she didn't bring Beat into their joint. Oh my god! No! Alright, so... Alright. Bro, I can't stop laughing. Okay, so... where do I even begin here? So... Beat and Gum, okay, they're smashing. And the fact that this person wrote that Corn never made Gum scream. She only giggled, moaned, and then occasionally just have full-blown conversations during sex. I mean, making it sound like Corn just wasn't hitting it right. And Beat is going in town on Gum. Like, that is... and then Corn and Gum, like, they have a place where they sleep together. And just the thought of, like, Gum and Beat potentially bringing it over there while Corn is, like, trying to sleep. It's like that one meme. That... oh, my God. Oh, man. But I wanted to make a side note that Soda, you know, the character everyone forgets is like the best written character so far. So far, he's the best written character in this entire story. Like, he's really spitting right now. Like, he's trying. Well, at first he was like, nah, man, she's not like that. But then he tells Corn straight up, like, dude, you gotta get over this, man. You know, this is destroying you, and it clearly is. And now you just saw your ex smashing one of your homies. Like, how do you survive? You know? Honestly, that would just make me go off the deep end at that point. I wouldn't want to be around anymore. Whew. Man, that was quite something. All right. Chapter 3. Corn sipped his coffee and waited. But not for long. She, I assume Gum, came into the kitchen, her hair a mess, and eyeliner smudged under the eyes. It was obvious she hadn't gotten a wink of sleep, and she was pretty hungover. Hello, Gum. Corn sat down at the table, and Gum dizzily sat down too, holding her head in both hands. Have fun last night? Gum looked at Corn in confusion. What do you mean, the party? Corn gave a half smile. Well, yes, and what happened after? I'm talking about you and Beat hooking up. Gum sighed. Corn, don't get stressed with me, okay? I was drunk and he was drunk, and we were just having a laugh. It's nothing serious. Gum suddenly stood up and ran over to the sink in which she was violently sick. Corn cringed when he saw this. He hated seeing Gum this way. When they were younger and had nowhere to live, they would often have to steal booze to drink, and often Gum couldn't handle it and would be sick everywhere. He had always looked after her. Man, all over the sink. Oh man, she couldn't hold it in. All over the sink. Oh, I mean, I guess you can clean it still. Corn rushed to Gum's side and gently patted her lower back, forcing her to be sick more. Get it all out, girl, Corn whispered, and Gum shook violently with soft sobs. After she had finished being sick, can you just say that she's throwing up? I mean, we know she's throwing up, little bro. Gum sat down and Corn wiped all around her mouth with a damp cloth and dabbed at her streaming tears with a soft tissue. It's okay, Corn sighed as Gum stopped. No need to get upset about it. We've all had drunk nights. I wasn't angry, just shocked. It's really okay. Corn, come on, bro. Come on. The way you were acting last night, we know that wasn't okay with you, man. We know you're feeling pain inside. Corn hugged Gum tightly to show this, and she just hung there loosely. It's not that, Corn, she sighed, wiping the remaining tears from her pink cheeks. It's all of it. Everyone thinks I'm a whore or something. They think I sleep with guys for the fun of it. Well, according to the author who wrote this, you are. You are. Corn shook his head. I know you're not like that, he sighed. But I am, Corn, she exclaimed. That's exactly what I'm like, except it's not just for the fun. Corn shifted uncomfortably. He didn't want to hear what came next. He couldn't handle it. But to Corn's surprise, Gum stormed off to her room and slammed the door shut behind her. Aw, B, well done, man. I can't believe you did that. You rock, dude. You mean you actually slept with Gum? Corn's gonna go crazy when he finds out, bro. Y'all mad loud with it. Like, if you're gonna talk about this, like, don't be like loud about it. Come on, man. The garage was buzzing with energy after the events of the night before. Yo-Yo, Garum, Combo, Clutch, and Beat all sat around a stained coffee table, cracked with age, on the upper balcony of the garage. At the center of all the attention was Beat, glowing with pride. When Corn stepped out of his bare flat, the first thing he noticed was the crowd around Beat, and the tension in the air as everyone's eyes turned to him. He couldn't lose his cool now. Not now. He was the leader. Everyone looked up to him for being the mature one. Bro, listen, nah. Listen. Your homie smashed your ex. Like, you know, that's something that needs to be addressed. Like, if there's gotta be beef, I mean, that's the time where there needs to be beef, man. Honestly, there's no like being the mature one. That's screwed up. You're smashing. The homies are smashing together, and one of those homies is your ex. So to everyone's surprise, even Corn's, he slowly walked up the step of the balcony and sat down at the broken coffee table by Yo-Yo. After everyone got over their initial shock, they all turned to a pale white Beat, obviously wanting him to carry on his story, but he stayed quiet. Hey guys, what are y'all talking about? Corn smiled, and everyone Oh, you know, just a party last night at 99th Street. Yo-Yo squealed, and Beat mentally slapped him. Haha, yeah, that was a good one, wasn't it? What did everyone get up to? Corn asked, hoping no praying for Beat to slip up somewhere. Luckily for Beat, Garen saved the day. Oh, you know, the usual, drinking, smoking weed, that kind of crap. I heard Jazz and Cube got pretty bladdered, probably why they were still in bed, he chuckled. And everyone laughs nervously. Haha, funny jokes, right? Yeah, Combo joined in. They must have had more drinks than me. I saw Jazz and Cube falling over on the way back to the garage. Everyone laughed once again. This time less squeaky, as it was figured Corn knew nothing about Gum and Pete. Where's Soda? Yo-Yo suddenly asked. I don't know. Corn frowned. It wasn't like Yo-Yo to care about Soda. Usually only he did. Just wondering, I guess. Yo-Yo shrugged. I didn't see him out last night, that's all. Corn sighed. Yeah, he came home early with me. I didn't feel too good. Be shifted in his hard seat. He had a strange feeling that Corn had seen him and Gum last night. Gum still in bed then? Combo asked, and Beast shot him such a hard foul look. Combo suddenly thought, oh shit, I'm dead. Yeah, she was pretty sick, bad this morning, Corn said. Is she okay? Beat asked a little too loudly. Yeah, she'll be fine. She's just drunk too much. That's all, Corn sighed. He hated talking about Gum with Beat. I mean, now y'all kind of got beef, you know. So I mean, that's understandable. Yeah, but you know how girls are with booze. Clutch chuckled in a fake way. They get up to all sorts of shit when they're drunk. Pete looked furious. Bro, everyone sucks. Everyone is so terrible. Pete looked furious, and Corn looked even angrier. But he quickly breathed in and smiled. I'm gonna go check up on Gum, make sure she's not being sick again. And with that, Corn quickly stood up and drifted off back to his flat. Why the fuck did you say that? Beast snarled at Clutch, who gave a cheeky grin to the redhead. Oh, so Clutch knew what he was doing. Man, Clutch is an asshole, but we already knew that. Corn knocked gently on Gum's bedroom door. After a minute of no reply, he stepped in. Gum's room was much like his own, small with only a bed and a small set of drawers and a tiny curtained window in one corner. Gum laid across her narrow duvet, wearing a short, skimpy blue satin dress, which only reached to her thigh. Corn sat beside the sleeping girl, looked down at her pretty face. Gum was paler than usual, her eyelids a subtle purple from the lack of sleep, and her cheeks tinted a rose pink. Her lips were soft and plump. They were a gorgeous size, large enough to be attractive, and yet not big enough to look like she was being stung by a huge wasp. Oh, yeah. Okay. Alright. That's something to say. Her features were slight and not too obvious. Her chest rose and fell underneath her dress as she breathed in and out, and she gave a soft mother in her sleep. She was beautiful, Corn thought. She sure as hell could pack a punch in a fight, and she could gob off for Japan. What the hell does gob off mean? But when she was asleep, you could see her soft side. She's so vulnerable, Corn thought. So delicate, so beautiful. Alright, easy there, weirdo. Corn suddenly shut up. He couldn't think like that about her. He was over her, way over her. No, you're not. She had Beat now. That bit of fun. He couldn't have her now. Corn mentally choked. And why would he want her? After the way she dumped him, Corn sighed. He would always want her. He loved her. No matter how many times he tried to deny it. To her, to Soda, and to himself, he knew secretly, deep down, he loved her. And with that, the girl woke. Oh, Corn, you are pathetic, man. You are actually like pathetic. Also, that last bit was it's kind of creepy. Not gonna lie. All right, we're at the final chapter, so let's try and finish this. Corn, why are you staring at me? Gum had just woke, and Corn was very aware that he had been staring at her for the past few minutes. It wasn't exactly sure why, because you're a weirdo. Gum's voice was raspy, in a way which meant she was still very hungover and very tired. Sorry. Corn jumped off of the bed and smiled nervously. It's okay, you can sit. Shit. Gum grabbed her head in pain, and Corn sat on the floor beside the narrow bed so his face was level with Gum's. I'm never drinking again, she sighed, pulling the covers closer to her throat. Yeah, I've heard that one before, Corn smiled nervously. There was a sudden outburst of noise from outside the small flat. The GG boys being rowdy, cheering, probably something to do with Beat, which reminded him. Beat seemed very proud of himself today earlier. I heard the boys congratulating him. Oh, that little fuck, Gum snarled. I shouldn't have gave him the satisfaction. Now I feel stupid as well as a slut. Well, because you kind of are in this case. Not gonna lie. The girl gave a long and tired sigh, which basically meant, I give up. Corn knew that sigh very well, and it scared the crap out of him. He slowly moved his hand towards her face and gently brushed a curl of her hair from out of her eyes, an action which made her stare intensely at him for a long time. She eventually held out her hand and took his, a sign of friendship and trust rather than anything else. I like how you had to specify that this is just for a sign of friendship and trust. What the hell am I gonna do? She muttered, her fingers tracing along Corn's grazed knuckles, caressing the scars which ran the length of his hand, wounds from years and years of fights and homelessness and vandalism and abuse. I've really fucked up this time, haven't I? No, you haven't, Corn said seriously, his gray eyes meeting her blues. This team would be nothing without you. You're a great girl, Gum. She couldn't help but notice the way he carefully chose his words, avoiding all the things he would have once called her. Beautiful, amazing, mine. Fuck, Beat. I already did, she smiled grimly. Maybe you should get with him. What? Excuse me? Huh? Alright, wait. I'ma just... Again, with seriousness embedded in his eyes. He obviously digs you. You'd be perfect together. That's right. Push her away so you don't have to keep lying to yourself. If she's someone else's, she can never be yours, Corn's mind told himself. That's the sensible thing to do. That's the kind of thing a good leader would do. The team comes first. Bro, what are you talking about right now? What are you saying? Like, what are you saying right now? So, you clearly hear that B is being very disrespectful towards your ex. And I know that you still like really love her and like you still value her happiness, but like you hearing and seeing what happened before, and then you want to come in here to tell her that she should get with that guy that you don't. Bro, that's no. Oh my god, why would you? Alright, the team comes first, by the way. Just remember that. Beat is. Gun's mouth twisted awkwardly, her tongue searching for a bad word to say against the redhead. But eventually, her jaw relaxed and she sighed. He's an okay guy, I guess. Why do you want me to get with him? She let go of Corn's hand and mindlessly played with the bed sheets, twisting them and picking at them nervously. I just want you to be happy, and if that means getting with Beat, then that's what you should do, Corn smiled, hating himself as he said it, the words burning at his tongue and mouth and teeth like a scolding blister. Yeah, Gum said dreamily, staring at the bedroom ceiling stained and gray. I guess you're right after all. Maybe I do like Beat. He sure is a good Yes, that's great. You're feeling any better now? Corn asked, his brow burrowing down at her last sentence. Oh my god. Oh, you are the worst, Corn. I guess, she yawned and stretched out her arms tiredly. Is it forward of me to ask him out? I mean, I don't think I've ever asked anyone out before. They've always asked me or whatever, but I guess it's the 21st century and a girl can do whatever she fucking wants, right? Yeah, it's your life. Gum sat up in her bed and smiled softly at Corn, who was beginning to feel terrible, like he did the wrong thing. I'm not even gonna bother. Thank you, Corn. You know you're my best friend, and I know you only want what's best for me. You're sweet like that. She reached out and hugged Corn's waist, which was the only part she could currently reach, being sat down. You're welcome, Gum, he smiled, not sure if what he did was to benefit her or him, and feeling extremely sick at the notion that what he did wasn't for his best friend's interest. Gum slid out of bed gracefully and wrapped her arms around Corn's shoulders. He held her back awkwardly. She gave him a grin that would have once set his heart alight, but only made him feel sad. You doing anything today? She smiled sweetly, adjusting her dress so it covered more of her pale flesh. Maybe go tag up the heist with Yo-Yo and Gara. And yourself? He smiled awkwardly, already knowing full well what Gum would be doing today if she had her way. Just to stay in, you know. Her cheeks flushed a deep crimson and she gave a small smile. That's if he says yes, which right now I don't know. Don't be stupid. Of course he'll say yes. You're beautiful, amazing, great. Good luck anyways, not that you need it. He smiled, tapping her shoulder encouragingly. There was a time when he would happily hit her shoulder with all of his force, knowing that she would grin and hit him back painfully, probably tackling him to the ground on the way and kissing every inch of him before he had the time to scream out. He sighed before making his way out of the Gum's room and out of the small flat into the garage. The day had been a success in tagging terms. Corn, Garum, Combo, Cube, and Jazz, once they had managed to crawl out of bed, take a couple of aspirins and stop puking, had managed to tag the whole of the heist and Chuo streets without Poison Jam chasing them once. By the time they got back to the garage that night, fully supplied with takeaway pizza for the whole gang, they were positively beaming. All of them, that was, except Corn, who was painfully aware that sat opposite him was beating Gum, curled up on the couch on the second level of the garage. His and Gum's usual hangout. And that is the origin of why Corn's couch is cursed. And that's it. That's it. That's how the story ends. There's no continuation. They just stopped here. And honestly, I'm glad they did. Oh my god. This was tough to get through. I'm not gonna hold you. But it was quite something. I just wanted to give my raw reactions, no editing, nothing, and wow, that is yeah, that's Young Hearts, everybody. If you liked what you saw, and if you're for some reason interested in seeing me read more fan fictions, you could like and comment on the video and be sure to subscribe. Wow, I'm terrible. This story has rounded me. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. But this was very cringe.